Can you read to me the nameplate?
Judge Eboni K. Williams.
So the only thing that matters in this particular courtroom is how I see it. I am from North Carolina by way of Louisiana with some West Coast cool and a New York edge. Do we have a problem, ma'am?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Equal justice is all about the most important values of our country: freedom, integrity, and those are the things that I'm striving for. Ma'am, you run your household, this man gets to run his. I decided to become an attorney and pursue the law. I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. This court cannot hold this woman accountable. People from all sectors of life, black, white, purple, gay, straight, queer, and that's what equal justice with Judge Eboni K. Williams is all about.
Candace Moore claims the defendant caused chaos at her book signing and made her lose the deposit she paid to the venue. Olivia Edwards says she showed up with proof that she and the plaintiff share the same dad. The defendant is countersuing for $450.
Ladies, I see I've got Candace Moore here as my plaintiff and Olivia Edwards as my defendant. Ms. Moore, you are suing Ms. Edwards for $550. You say negligence, but I do see there's a countersuit from the defendant in the amount of $450. We'll start with you, Ms. Moore. Why are we in court today?
How you doing, Your Honor? My name is Candace Moore. I am here to recover the full cost of a security deposit I lost to a venue due to the defendant's lack of self-control.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what kind of event was it?
It was a book signing in honor of my late father, Daniel Moore, who is also a publisher.
Okay. Well, sorry to hear about your dad's passing, but congratulations on the book. And so you rented out a space to have like a launch party or something like that?
A professional, high-scale book signing.
Okay.
That included most of the community that'll honor my father in the best way I knew how.
And how much did you spend on this security deposit?
The security deposit was $550.
And do you have a receipt, ma'am, to show that?
Yes, I do.
So go ahead and give all of your evidence folder, please, to my bailiff so I can review this. Now, you're also saying that you are seeking the return of the deposit because lack of self-control. What are you accusing this young lady of doing, ma'am?
She caused a physical altercation as well as a confrontation at the book signing before it even got started.
Oh, goodness.
Which caused management to cancel the book signing. And
so the event never even happened?
It never even happened.
But you still had to pay for the deposit?
Which was non-refundable,
Non-refundable. Yes. What happened?
Before my event started, around 11:45 a.m., the event is supposed to start at 12:30. I got a text message from my friend Mia that stated that this deranged person who claims she is my sister, which
is this so-called deranged person here?
Yes.
Okay, so this is possible that y'all are sisters?
We are not sisters. There's no proof of that anywhere.
Well, ma'am, you're laughing. Is this your sister?
This is my sister.
This is your sister? Okay, well, we're gonna...
Now here's a courtroom twist. The defendant admits Candace is her sister. But Candace doesn't just disagree. She denies it outright. This is where legal meets emotional battlefield. The court isn't just looking at evidence. It's witnessing two life narratives collide. Is Olivia delusional? Or has she been denied her identity for decades? And if this man was truly both her father, why was one daughter embraced and the other cast aside? This isn't just a legal debate. It's generational trauma in real time.
Figure that part out in a second, but you're saying she shows up at the event?
Uninvited.
The defendant?
Yes.
Uninvited, okay. But regardless, she shows up and what happens?
She shows up, she is harassing my guests. A couple of my family members were there as well. I get this text message before I even arrive. Once I do arrive, I confront her as any sane person would do who's paying for a venue.
Well, we'll determine that. Let me see here. You say your friend Mia texts you and she says, Candace, where are you? You say, I'm running a few minutes behind, but we're on the way. Your friend says, hurry up. That girl who claims to be your sister, talking about the defendant, is here and she's showing out, okay? Then she says, yep, she's going around telling people that she's your sister and she's your family and that your family won't accept her. It's a mess. Let me get you in here, Madam Defendant. You do say that this is your sister. Why do you say that?
She is my sister, and I actually showed up to her professional book signing to celebrate her book, not to start any drama. And I showed up with something that she's been asking for her whole entire life.
And what is that, ma'am?
Physical proof. A letter that I have here.
Elijah, go ahead and give your full folder, ma'am, to my bailiff. Let Elijah bring that to me so I can review it. So y'all did not grow up together?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And when did you find out, allegedly, that y'all are sisters?
I've known since birth.
Oh, okay. So is this father, sister, mother side sister?
Father's sister.
Father, sister. Okay, so you two share a father, according to you.
We do.
Okay. Let's let the court look at this letter here. Oh, this is from the father. Okay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes. To my daughter Olivia, that is Madam Defendant. He says, I'm writing this because I owe you the truth. I owe you 1,000 apologies. The years I spent denying you, my goodness, were some of the biggest mistakes of my life. Cowardice born out of youth and fear. Fear of hurting the family I already had, and fear of disrupting the careful life I had built. He goes on to say he was young and terrified. You were real. You were my daughter. I was too much of a coward to say it out loud. So this is your father, alleged. Well, let me say this. This is a man purporting to have been your father your entire life.
Correct.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
Were you showing out, ma'am?
I was not showing out, Your Honor. I simply showed up with my physical evidence that her whole entire
This is,
family...
you're talking about the letter?
Correct.
Okay, and what happened with the letter? Did you
I
offer
showed
it?
them the letter.
And later,
Is it prickly?
It is not prickly, Your Honor. However, there's sap. So if you rub it on your skin incorrectly, that sap, and then you touch, say, your eyes, just to say, if you had a jalapeno.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with Candace Moore, who is fighting with Olivia Edwards over a canceled book signing.
How did you find out about the book event, ma'am?
My Auntie Rose, his sister.
His sister.
Correct.
Okay. So she told you about it. And did
Yes.
she invite you to come?
Yes, she did, Your Honor.
So let's get to this alleged altercation, because your friend indicated that she was showing out. Were you showing out, ma'am?
I was not showing out, Your Honor. I simply showed up with my physical evidence that her whole entire
This is,
family...
you talking about the letter?
Correct.
Okay, and what happened with the letter? Did you
I
offer
showed
it?
them the letter. I
Okay.
showed her mother. I showed her siblings before she got there because, correct, I got there before the book signing had started.
And did commotion ensue once you started passing this letter around?
They did not want to believe it, and I said, if you don't want to believe this, then maybe my half-sister, my blood, will believe this.
Here's the emotional crescendo. Olivia says she showed up not to sabotage, but to be included after being written out of both a book and a family history. But Judge Eboni raises a brilliant legal and moral point. Even if Olivia's family, Candace isn't obligated to include her in the book. Personal narratives are protected. The issue is timing. Was this the right moment to demand acknowledgement? Or did Olivia cross a boundary? Sound off in the comments. Was this courage or chaos?
But why the book event, of all places and times, to present this evidence, ma'am?
Because my whole entire life, I have been excluded from this family.
Right, but now it's starting to sound like you were crashing a pre-planned event to soothe your emotional distress.
Well, you see, ma'am, she wrote this whole entire book about my father's life, and she excluded me from the whole entire book.
Well, ma'am, respectfully, let me just go with the possibility that indeed this is also your father and that y'all are sisters in this way. Her experience with y'all's father is her experience with him. So she wouldn't really be obligated, ma'am, to include you if you were not a part of her experience. But let me get back to this event and the money. So at what point did you realize the event was not going to happen?
Shortly after I got there, I confronted her. We got into an altercation. And
So y'all two together got into a physical altercation?
yes, I was just defending myself.
Okay, who, I guess as they say, laid the first punch or the first blow?
She gave me a
did.
shove.
So you're saying she did, and you're saying she did?
Yes.
Is there a videotape, a photo, something I
Well,
can see?
there would have been a videotape if she didn't take my hand and throw it across the room, which caused my phone to shatter.
Your Honor,
So
she was recording in my face.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so a natural hand movement would have knocked her phone out of the way.
So you're saying to the court that you were simply defending your physical space and inadvertently your phone was damaged.
Absolutely.
Why would she put her hands on you?
I was escorting her towards the door.
Oh,
To leave
so
so
you
I can-
were using some type of physical efforts to remove her from the premises?
I was not physically touching her, but I was guiding her in that direction.
Well, show it on Elijah. I need to see. Can please demonstrate.
Let's go this way. Let's go this way.
So you are telling this court that you never made physical contact.
Never made physical contact.
Is that true, ma'am?
That is a lie, Your Honor.
So you're saying that she put her hands on you to remove you from the premises?
If she didn't put her hands on me, then I don't know how my phone would have gotten shattered.
I can understand, Ms. Edwards, the need to find family and connection, belonging, and acceptance. I understand that better than you could know. But there is a time and a place. Do you think that there could have been a better time to make such a claim?
I think there were better times that I have tried to go forth and make this connection, this relationship with her. But every time I try to do it, she just blows me off.
Let me ask you something, Ms. Moore. Her cell phone. Had you not been trying to escort her from the premises, would it have been damaged?
No, she could have dropped it on her own.
But that's not what happened. And also, where was security? Why did you feel the need to play rent-a-cop at this event that you were?
Excellent question from Judge Eboni. Where was security? This was a booked venue, a public event, and tensions were clearly high. If security had been present, the entire altercation, and maybe even a lawsuit, could have been avoided. This moment is a wake-up call. Even if you're hosting a personal event, professional precautions matter. One overlooked detail can cost you everything. Would you have taken legal action if this happened to your event?
Throwing, and I'm sure that they had security on site.
Well, like I said, this was around 11:55 in the morning, and the event started at 12:30. So this is prior to the event. Security had not arrived yet.
Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a ruling momentarily on the claims. But you know, a very important issue will remain outstanding after y'all leave this courtroom today, and that is indeed whether or not you two are biological sisters. I encourage you to seek a paternity test because DNA and science, that doesn't lie. Men lie, women lie. The genes don't lie, ladies. So I do encourage you both to seek that. But as it relates to these claims today, here's what I'm going to do. Ms. Moore, I do believe that your non-refundable deposit is something that you did not cause. So I am going to rule in favor of the plaintiff on the first part of the negligence claim, okay? I think that you breached a reasonable duty of time and place. However, I also have to consider whether or not you, Ms. Moore, ultimately at least contributed to the damage of her phone. So the court rules in favor of the plaintiff for the full demand of $550, and I rule in favor also of the defendant, but only for a partial demand. You will get only half of the cost of your $450 phone because you both contributed to its damage. That's my ruling. I hope you figure it out, ladies.
All rise.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $325.
That's just not fair.
Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. Guess we're not sisters after all.
Okay. Any final thoughts from you?
Never invited to the cookout, ever.
I don't want to be invited to your lame cookout anyways.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
You guys received medical treatment? Did
Yes.
you go to the hospital?
We went to the hospital. They took us immediately because my daughter was in such a
she was
state.
probably hysterical. Okay.
Hysterical. They had to wash our eyes out with saline for 45 minutes.
This is Equal Justice. Charlotte Davis claims she and her daughter wound up in the ER after a cactus she bought from the defendant burned their eyes. Olivia Hall says Ms. Davis should have known better than to repot the caustic plant.
Ladies, I see I've got Charlotte Davis here as my plaintiff, Olivia Hall as my defendant.
Your Honor.
Ms. Davis, you are suing the defendant for $2,800. You're citing medical bill expenses. What brings you to court today?
Ms. Hall sold me, while I was with my daughter, a plant that put us in the ER. I was told that it was called pencil cactus, so seemed harmless enough. Sap from it got into our eyes.
Okay. Do you have a photo or something I can
I do,
see
Your
what it
Honor.
looks like? Okay, Elijah, can you please collect all
have
of
your
the evidence folder,
entire
ma'am, to my bailiff? Thank you. So I can get a sense as to exactly what type of plant we're talking about. Okay, let's see if the court can take a look at this. So this is the pencil cactus, Ms. Hall.
Also known as fire stick, Your Honor.
Fire stick?
Yes, Your
Now,
Honor.
why do they call it fire stick?
Because it can be dangerous if you handle it incorrectly.
So now the court is curious, Ms. Hall. What is incorrectly?
So when you're gardening, as most people know, there are things called garden gloves. So usually if you're gardening, you would handle garden gloves just as if you were going to handle a cactus, which you know is prickly.
Is it prickly?
It is not prickly, Your Honor. However, there is sap. So if you rub it on your skin incorrectly, that sap, and then you touch, say, your eyes, just to say, if you had a jalapeno,
Yeah,
you know, if you-
yes.
yeah, so you understand.
yes.
So if you know, again, common sense needs to be played here.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
Now, you say you have never, not one time, Ms. Hall, had any other complaining customers.
Not one.
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with Charlotte Davis, who blames Olivia Hall for selling her a toxic plant.
You purchased this plant from Ms. Hall.
I did.
You mentioned something about a daughter. Was your daughter with you?
So my daughter was with me when
Okay.
I purchased it. She was like, "Mommy, I like this one. It's pretty."
It's pretty.
And we thought
It's
that
almost like pink,
It's
you
almost
know.
pink. She's a little girl.
And she's a little girl. We got
so
it,
we
yeah.
thought that we would plant it together, like a little mother-daughter bonding
Activity, yeah.
Yeah, an activity. You know, she had the day off, I had the day off, and I was with my daughter. I feel like it would have been very simple. Just
How old
to
is your
say,
daughter?
She's 7.
7, okay.
Just to say something like, "Hey, by the way, the sap from this plant could burn you."
So let's go back to when you and your daughter attempted to, put this in the ground? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Did you
I-
get the gloves?
No, I put it in the ground and I had to snip a couple of the branches so it would fit in with some other bushes.
Okay.
And after that, my daughter started complaining that her eyes felt sore and then mine felt sore. And within 5 minutes, we were in complete.
This is heartbreaking. A mother and daughter end up in the ER, screaming in pain because of an innocent gardening moment. But the real question is, was the seller responsible to warn? Legally, a seller might not be liable unless the danger is hidden or unusual. The court has to decide, was this common sense or a failure to disclose? When kids are involved, sympathy runs high. But sympathy alone doesn't win lawsuits. Facts do.
Agony. It felt
I
like
bet.
glass in our eyes.
Oof.
So I had to call an ambulance. I couldn't drive. I couldn't.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
and I mean, it's traumatic for my daughter. It would have been very
Was she,
simple
like,
just to
crying
say
and
something.
upset
Yes.
and all of that?
She was
Okay.
screaming. She was crying. It would have been so simple.
Yeah.
Just to say something at purchase.
Okay, let's keep going through the facts, though, Ms. Davis. So you called 911.
Yes.
Ambulance comes. You guys receive medical treatment. Do
Yes.
you go to the hospital?
We went to the hospital. They took us immediately because my daughter was in such a
she
state.
was probably hysterical. Okay.
Hysterical. They
Yeah.
had to wash our eyes out with saline for 45 minutes.
And tell us again, why is it Ms. Hall's responsibility?
If she's selling this to the community, I understand that there's such a thing as common sense, but there's also being a good neighbor. She's selling these plants to our neighborhood and not letting people know the damage that it could cause. This was a little girl. She shouldn't have had to experience this kind of trauma.
Indeed, and it sounds like it wasn't a pleasant experience for you either.
No.
Now, you say you have never, not one time, Ms. Hall, had any other complaining customers.
Not one. And I want to say, look, I'm glad her daughter's okay.
Sure.
That was an unfortunate incident, but she's the parent. She should know how to handle things with her daughter. This plant should not have been repotted. She never told me she was going to repot this plant.
So this
it
is
was
not
a decorative
designed for that.
planter
Oh.
ready to just be displayed. So most of my plants are in decorative pots. I'm known for that. I'm like the plant lady in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And they all take the plants and they put them, you know, in their living room or they're out, you know, outdoor in their patio and they're great.
Judge Eboni's verdict when Equal Justice returns. This is Equal Justice.
If this was something that I would deem more customary, you know, an actual cactus, and you went to plant a cactus with no gloves on, that's hard for the court to wrap their mind around because it's so visually obvious to be of a danger. I can't say that that rule applies here, Ms. Hall. So therefore, Ms. Davis, I am finding that there was a breached duty of care by this businesswoman to you and your daughter that caused harm that you paid for, and you should be reimbursed. The court rules in favor of the plaintiff for the full demand
What?
of $2,800.
This is
That's my
outrageous.
verdict, Ms. Hall.
All rise.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the plaintiff that if
Two emotionally charged cases, two very different verdicts. But the takeaway is crystal clear. The law doesn't just deal in facts. It deals in timing, context, and accountability. Whether the long-lost sister crashing your event or a harmless cactus causing trauma, every action has a ripple effect. Judge Eboni didn't just deliver verdicts. She delivered lessons. So let's keep the conversation going. What would you have done in Candace's shoes? Was Olivia justified in her emotional plea? And what about the plant case? Should the seller have warned them? Drop your thoughts below. If you found this episode as intense and insightful as we did, hit that like button, share with a friend, and subscribe for more real courtroom showdowns, raw emotions, and powerful rulings right here on Equal Justice.